Okay, Universal Waste is here under the light source. It's 9:21 a.m. engaging in terrorism and sexual violence this morning, monitoring me in the darkness, while engineer light is aimed inside of my bedroom, terrorizing the targeted individual, engaging in sexual violence, fleeing off the scene. Knowing that I'm coming outside to get that demon. He's going to federal prison. He's been seen many, many, many times. Abandoning the dumpster that he left behind. Okay, abandoning the dumpster. I want to be clear. LA County's not supposed to. First of all, LA County's not supposed to be monitoring you. Second of all, they're not supposed to abandon the dumpsters in the middle of the parking lot. This is clearly an obstruction on private property where they're also engaging in criminal activity, which is workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence by an entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That's why you have the entity engaged in the pattern of conduct where the target individual lives and works. The entity is engaging in workplace harassment, terrorism, and sexual violence as an entity. This is built into what the entity planned to do while hiring me by speaker companies, which is a third party. And everybody who lives here engaged in the pattern of conduct. This is the entity engaging in that in the workplace. It includes the companies, okay? And that's what they're engaging in. This is a demon that's crossing path, maintaining presence in the specific environment. That is the demon that is Tiffany Sherez, engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. She's going to federal prison. That demon's an afterthought right now. She's monitoring. She's obsessed with when my panties are up and down, and she's in custody of children right now. That's what the federal government's going to deal with. The entity is engaging in what is thunderous, loud noises of what is the dumpster on the truck. All right, amplified in sound while impossible light activity moves on my ceiling in my bedroom. Okay, this is that demon that's engaging in that terrorism. This is P.O.C. This is Impossible Light. He's going to federal prison. Impossible Light activity under the light source. He's a sex offender. Impossible Light will never bounce on your ceilings in your bedroom at nightfall. This is a demon, and he's engaging in demonic activity right now. Impossible Light's moving across the IKEA. Impossible Light moving on the asphalt. Engaged in workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence as a demon-possessed entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is the demon that the Los Angeles Police Department is monitoring through. This is not going to create thunderous, loud noises inside of your apartment, nor inside of the office space. It's called amplification. You're literally looking at demonic activity. All right? Sunlight doesn't bounce off of your vehicle and move across asphalt. That's a demon. Doesn't matter what the face is, doesn't matter what the logo is. Same exact demonic pattern of conduct. And the sun is not going to be over on what is Alvarado Gardens while it's remaining over me when I'm in an entirely different region, which is what is going on April 26, 2022. That's also how you know that this is a demon. Universal Waste Systems, Inc. is not going to survive. This is documented impunity. All right, you don't have any constitutional right, or you're not operating a valid business where you're engaging in, go ahead, when you're engaging in what is the pattern of conduct. This is a demon that's crossing path. Impossible Light moves across the building. She's going to federal prison. CV41D55, that's Tiffany Sherez, a demon. They're monitoring together under the light source, okay? And that's molestation. That's exactly what Iris Carnero did. While, by the way, the light source 12 p.m. directly over my head, that's not the sun. Universal Waste Systems, a sex offender monitoring, terrorizing at nightfall as well. That's impunity. P.O.C. License plate 80746U3. That's Universal Waste. That's a demon moving all across the building. That's impunity. That company's not going to survive, and she's going to federal prison. All right, this is the light source that's over me at 9:25 a.m. Everybody here is going to federal prison. This is not only criminal surveillance, it's in the workplace. Nova Contractors is monitoring in relevant position while you just saw that iteration of demonic terrorism, which is serving criminal system by the state. LAPD is monitoring while demons surround engaging in that. In the specific environment, there is nothing that you're painting. There's nothing that you're engaging in that is anything other than criminal presence, okay? And he is monitoring on the video of the internet. He represents Nova Contractors. This is his vehicle. And he is in relevant position while that criminal pattern of conduct is underway. And Nova Contractors has been engaged in criminal facilitation and harassment as an entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as a matter of documentation of July 2023. And engaged in what is federal stalking as well. It is currently, let's see, how can I help you? Sure. I need a moment, okay? I'll talk to you later. I'll call you. This is monitoring. This is P.O.C. And that's a psychopath that's also monitoring, talking about she has a complaint, she's monitoring me. And she knows every word that I said. That's a demon. When you're looking at the engineer light and the light source, the sunrise and sunset, the same address, they know exactly what's being documented about them, also on the video of the internet. All right, and so that's why I'm not entertaining her nonsense, because she just wants to monitor. And she's still monitoring, but I'm not going to be distracted from documenting right now. So I want you to understand, Nova Contractors is monitoring while you saw that. Nova Contractors third-party license plate 54971P3. This is also speaking to what is that third party's condition. This is the demon-possessed population. This is occurring under the guise of what a company names just like you saw Universal Waste illustrate. Nova Contractors is not an exception to that, okay? They are inside in relevant position to me on the property. Everybody living at the property is engaged in permanent group stalking. You're living in relevant position, all right? Coming on and engaging with that impunity that was just exhibited by that company, all right? I want to be clear, that is entirely psychotic. And not only is that third party going to federal prison, you are also talking about Universal Waste, which is you're going to drain the pockets of companies that are systematically engaging in this system on behalf of the state. That's what Universal Waste was just documenting engaging in again. This is that demonic light that you saw across the apartment building, that you saw across the asphalt, in my person as that demon Tiffany Sherez, who then approaches me. That's a threat to you. Talking about she wants to give me a complaint about another person. It's audible activity in relevant position. It is as meaningless as Center for Better Life, a demon threatening in concert with LAPD, giving me an apology for being disrespectful the previous week. It is disrespectful and equally life-threatening, and it is also that what you saw was followed by impossible light activity, just like Universal Waste engaged in right now under the light source, which is not the sun. Where am I at on April 26, 2022? I'm on Route 61, and I'm arriving at the Fontana Lewis Library, and I capture my presence and the light source over me and what is engineered light that fills that library and is all over the grounds, because the sun is not over that library and over me as I'm standing outside, while you're looking at demons engaging in their criminal activity, which is serving to terrorize an American citizen. And while they're engaged in federal stalking monitoring, so they're literally witnessing their exposure and the documentation of their criminal acts, and they continue to engage in more of it. And let me be clear, not hearing the helicopter activity is in no way reasonably said. Let me be clear. Not only have I established the pattern of conduct by these corrupt police departments, LAPD established their engagement in the criminal pattern of conduct. They established it themselves, okay? They literally punctuated what I already established, okay? And what am I stating that for? Because they're monitoring, while you saw that iteration, all of that demonic activity underway, which is serving criminal surveillance, including that which is on via communication devices on the venue of the internet. And I'm referencing Title 18 right now. That's how the state is monitoring through the people. Okay, that's exactly what the people of the state, that's what their roles are. Okay, now outside of the pattern of conduct, outside of documentation, you have the people of the state that are tormenting, targeting. You're talking about physically abusing. You're talking about harassing. You're talking about summoning the entity and making up information about them, setting them up and threatening their lives and their livelihood, their work, their job. This is what the entity is doing. Okay, while you're looking at that terrorism that they engaged in, going under the name of Universal Waste and going under the name of a resident of 1818 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. And let me be clear, the mental issues, that are illustrated through somebody that engages in attacking you like that, and then with a straight face, oh, I need to give a complaint. How can I help you? You're Nova, right? I'm sorry?
How about leave it the fridge?
Oh, refrigerator, your fetters.
Yeah.
Hi. I was like, your face looks familiar. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you need?
I want to make sure.
This is P.O.C.
1814, apartment 3. That's correct?
That's correct.
It's over there, right?
That's correct. You've been here plenty of times before.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, you know.
I know you.
We saw each other before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is somebody there, right?
The resident's there, sure.
Great. I'll be back with you.
Sure. Thank you. That's serving for monitoring, knows exactly where the apartment is, okay? He's coming in, audible activity, relevant positioning. That's Fetters, also engaged in the P.O.C. Monitoring on a venue of the internet. He knows exactly where he's been doing this for years, and just as he admitted, he recognizes me. Let me be clear, they know exactly who I am. I'm being targeted by the state, but nonetheless, it's audible activity. I wanted you to capture that. I'm gonna document Fetters next. What I was getting at is the mental psychosis, how disturbed someone is in their mind to engage in that all-out satanic conduct, molesting you, showing hostility. This is how a demon is communicating hostility. Okay, the directed light conduct, they're monitoring you, and then these demons are very hostile because I'm pointing that out to you. They're secret. It's supposed to perplex the targeted individual. It's supposed to terrorize you. It's supposed to silence you. It's supposed to petrify you, okay? You're supposed to be trembling in a corner somewhere. That's not what's happening. And so they're exceedingly hostile. Then you get more helicopter activity. Then you get more light activity. Then you get more amplified audible activity. And this is the entity that's psychotic, okay? And it's to their own demise because that's being documented also, okay? Because they're going to be documented as stalkers. So let me show you what Nova is engaged in, because the entity's sounding helicopter activity. Fetters is engaged in the P.O.C. as well. This is what they're engaged. This is what Universal Waste is engaging in. Those are the demons flying in circles everywhere, crossing path. All right. This is what Nova Contractors is engaging in right now, and Fetters is engaging in concert with this state in this specific environment. They are inextricably linked to the pattern of conduct. Universal Waste. You have Ryder. You have Center for Better Life. You have Vanessa Dries. You have Tiffany Sherez. You can go down and name any person because it's no respecter of persons. There's nothing that you are doing other than what is criminal presence in the engineer light. That's why the engineer light is here. That's why the light source is here. There's no sun that's going to be over Route 61. That's going to be over the Fontana Lewis Library, like I'm documenting on this day in 2022. At the same time, in addition to that, you have it's 9:32 right now, so you're talking about 15 minutes from now, the sun's going to be over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court? No, it's not. It's right here where Fetters is group stalking. Fetters is nothing other than a commercial means of identifying the people of the state civilly and criminally prosecuted and engaging what is monitoring by stepping into my office. And when I'm referencing and pointing out the pattern of conduct and the psychotic demon-possessed behavioral patterns, the entity flies over by helicopter, which is, again, exactly an ongoing communication of hostility. This is what Iris Carnero is accomplishing while she crosses path in the entity sounds helicopter activity. This is what Joan Kim is communicating while she's crossing path in the entity sounds helicopter activity. It is also demonstrated while the entity is being documented by more names. They were already documented. Now all I'm doing is expressly communicating it in my documentation while they're here on the property. July 2023, they've been systematically engaging in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. All of the evidence that's already captured on the computer that I worked on is already showing for what's going to be a federal prosecution. They're here in relevant position, group stalking with the state. He's inside of 1803. He's in relevant position to me. He's monitoring, also engaged in workplace terrorism. He represents a company as well who's going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted. Also engaged in the sex offense when I'm inside of my apartment. Okay? The entity is doing the exact same thing. No respecter of persons. The demonic activity is universal. It doesn't change. And that's how you know there's a system as well. It is currently, again, 9:33 a.m. That third party's image is captured on video, arriving to my office. Seconds later, the LAPD is flying over, which is the ongoing pattern of conduct. You have a multiplicity of faces engaging in that same system. Under no circumstances in the natural environment, that's identifying the P.O.C. The entity is engaging in what is maintaining a specific environment on April 26, 2022, and on June 23rd, 2022, where the light source is remaining over me at the courthouse, where I'm showing you the exact same criminal system that's underway. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department is group stalking on that day. I'm naming the police departments that are group stalking by crossing path, entering into the doors of that court while that light source is hovering over me, and I'm documenting them. All right, that's the frenzy of the demon possessed. And so you had police officers running into the courtroom because they were group stalking. All right, engaging in passive aggressive. Oh, I'm not going toward the target individual. I'm not talking to the target individual, but I'm group stalking, crossing path in this specific environment because they're monitoring me. That's the significance of being present and moving around in the engineered light. They're demons, number one. Number two, now they're going to be prosecuted as the criminals that they are because it's state surveillance. It's exposed. All right. It is currently, again, 9:34 a.m. This is P.O.C. Fetters is a third party, civilly and criminally prosecuted. Universal Waste. They're acting on behalf of an entity. While you see that impossible light activity, it's telling on everybody else. All right. It's telling also on that company going to be listed as a group stalker. All right. Again, Nova Contractors, it's telling on everyone. Monitoring, going to be listed as a group stalker. And that third party that is in any way acting in concert with LAPD, meaning you come out, I'm going to be generous right now, but I want to be clear. Federal prison is already accomplished by being present. It's an impermissible threat. It's occurring in the private space as well. So that's already grounds of federal prison. But you cross path while the entity is crossing path, sounding helicopter activity like Iris Carnero and all others that live here systematically, that's grounds of federal prison, which I've already shown you the schedule. Engaging in the pattern of conduct where the entity is maintaining the light source. Nova Contractors is here to engage in what is systematic presence while an apartment is being turned. All right, they're engaged in group stalking. The entity is engaged in ongoing terrorism. April 25th, today's April 26th, April 30th, May 2nd, that's systematic maintenance of presence. So I want to be clear, understand what is the grounds of federal prison. All right, they're engaged in the state's pattern of conduct. What you call yourself doing while in relevant position is nothing other than the criminal elements of monitoring. So I want to make sure that I'm documenting this, which I took a picture of it, understand the significance, all right? With regard to the target individual and how I would be representing the ordinary target individual in federal court, you're going to federal prison, period. But I have been so generous to say, oh, you don't step outside of that apartment, okay, then that's fine. All right, but the rule is impermissible threat, federal prison. Nova's posing an impermissible threat. They've been monitoring since I've been here in July of 2023. And any and everybody representing that company that you're talking about coming onto the grounds, engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, which they've been as well, state surveillance online while I'm in the workplace. That's what every email is serving. All right, the entity is engaged in state surveillance online. So I just want to make sure I outline that for you. It is currently 9:36 a.m. and Nova is monitoring with LAPD, who flies over in relevant position. Nova is threatening my life. Nova is engaged in state surveillance. Nova is inextricably linked and in no way innocent. That's why the environment is here, and that's how you're understanding the intent. So you have what is literally idiotic and woefully unprepared for federal prosecution, and the unveiling of the demonic environment that they're in, because the entity is falsely assuming that you could say, oh, I don't know the target individual, and that's going to get you off. You are showing the environment that they're in, that scientific impossibility is there because everybody's doing it. Everyone, every single last person. And they're also demonstrating what is impossible. Demonic light appearing all over the wall while you're driving a vehicle with a logo on it, supposedly just emptying the trash. That's occurring inside of my apartment while that demon's here in the night. All right, in the dark. Okay, that's exactly what that demon was doing, and that psychotic behavior, he's going to be put in a cage. Okay, and that analysis goes for every single last person. Federal law is not going to change based on how old you are, based on how far or how far over you're limping when you're going to be placed into that uniform and going into federal prison. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I mean exactly that. It is currently again 9:37 a.m. 10 minutes from now, the light source is over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. All right, and that's speaking to what are the demons that fill that venue and the exercise of fictitious authority under the law where the state is documented, engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. As an aside, I just want to point out to you, the state that is documented engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring is one revealing a matter of public corruption. The inability to not only trust that government that's engaging in what is a criminal system, which is, again, egregious, literally something that is unfathomable, and an unthinkable betrayal by one's own government in the U.S. I'm talking about the United States. We're supposed to be some beacon of light, like I said, that's why it's relevant here. I advocate the removal of the government, the state government, to engage in things such as the death penalty. And that's based on the ability to not trust not only the people of the state who get on the stands and they bear false witness. That's exactly what the demon-possessed population that's monitoring American citizens, that's exactly what the secret society is doing. You can't even trust what's on the news. The people of the state are reporting the news to you. So I just want to be clear. Those are the couple of things that I advocate against. And it's not because there aren't people that do horrible and horrendous things. That's not why. Understand the purpose of the laws in this country. It's to protect the truly innocent one, not the one that may be guilty and gets off. But it's what is unthinkable is that an actual innocent person is going to suffer those consequences, and the corrupt government having such tools at their disposal is too much of a risk. And so that's just something, as an aside, I advocate against this based on what it is that I'm exposing and what's being prosecuted. And where this is being exposed, the government is this is what I advocate, because of the criminal system that is in operation in that state. It removes the ability to, in those major ways, alter the constitutional rights and liberties of American citizens just based on the established criminal system, and there is no trust of that government. So it's not advocacy of anarchy, but in every regard, you were talking about the federal government stepping in, but yeah, you don't have the right to engage in that. You don't have that trust. You don't have that position anymore, and that's just inherent to being exposed in this matter of public corruption. Because remember, it's not just the government, it's the people and the government. The government is operating through the consent and the cooperation of the people. The people are literally the corrupt weapon, the corrupt weaponry against American citizens. No, they should not be engaging in that sort of conduct. And there are other policies that I think are directly affected by revealing this criminal system, but that's just one that I want to point out. This is pointing out the corruption of a government while you're looking at demons flinging light left and right under that which is not possibly the sun. It's rising and setting. And this is literally a circus scene, but it's highly criminal. Okay, it's at this point, it's just absolutely absurdly ridiculous what this entity has been caught engaging in, and then it just continues to engage in it. It's the lawlessness of a bunch of children at this point. But the actual minor children, they're going to be removed from this population. It is currently 9:40 a.m. and 7 minutes from now, this documentation establishes that the sun is not over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and that's exactly why you're not going to empower a government, the state government, to have any position, the jurisdiction, the power, the authority to rule that someone's life should be ended by that government based on a conviction of a crime, and that's inherent to what is revealing this level of corruption by that government. And the state of California does enforce the death penalty, and I am advocating directly against that because of the corruption that's being exposed. All right, and that is at every level of government, by the way. It's every level of government. All right, it is currently again 9:41 a.m. and this is P.O.C.